Yogi Bhajan always said, I'm teaching teachers, and if you don't want to be a teacher, don't come. He was very specific. He's like, you know what? I'm teaching teachers. So I'm sure that was in my psyche. When I moved to the ashram in Millis, Massachusetts, I think it was 1980, 84, I lived there. I taught a class, and it was one of my very first classes. I'm trying to think. It's a long time ago. But I taught this class and I felt so good after teaching this class. I mean, like took the material and inhale, exhale, stand up. I mean, I was just reading off the instructions. But afterwards, I was like, something happened. I'm like, this is good stuff. I felt good about myself.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everybody in the world. This is another recording of the Kundalini Awakening podcast from Karma to Dharma. And today I've got somebody on our line who's really walked her dharmic path. She was once told to be the most impactful teachers in the Kundalini Yoga. And I'm just so honored to have her on our podcast today. It is Guru Rattana. And we're going to dive into her. I don't know how many years we're going to discover soon. How many years have you done Kundalini Yoga, Guru Ratna?
So I've done Kundalini. Oh, it's a long time. Since 1977, I've been doing it daily since about spring 1977. So that makes
48 years, 7 years.
yeah, every day except for sick leave. If I'm sick, I can't do it. And once in a while, when I was traveling and I had an early plane, I didn't get up at 2 o'clock. I still got up at 4. So I want to tell you, I made a decision that I do sadhana. So only one decision. I didn't have to decide every morning, am I going to get up or not? I figured it out all by myself. That that is too stressful, especially when I was living in Boston and then I was living in the ashram. You know what? 3 o'clock in the morning, who wants to decide? Oh, I want to get up. No. So I said, one time I decide I do sadhana every day. So I never have to think about it. I make my schedule around getting up at an appropriate time and I go to bed so I get enough sleep. And that's it. That's how I do it.
One decision. Wow. But hey, the question is, what inspired you to that decision then? Because that's not just a decision to make, but you made it. But what happened before that then?
Well, I remember the moment when I was at ladies' camp with all the ladies and Yogi Bhajan, and I had this thought, if I do Kundalini yoga every day, it's all going to turn out. It's all going to be okay. I was 33, maybe 34, when I remember having that thought, but I knew I didn't know about my life. I knew there was a future, but I didn't know what it was. But I knew if I did Kundalini yoga every day, I'd be okay.
Well, you look very okay to me. So
Oh, thank you. I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good for 80. So that's what I can remember consciously. But a lot of things you do because it's your soul speaking to you. And you can call it unconscious, whatever you call it, something comes through and guides you. I feel I've been very guided by my soul my whole life because I couldn't figure this out by myself. I just do what I'm told to do and I feel it. And I'm like, okay, that's a good idea.
Yeah, it's so nice that you're coming to the podcast. You've lived quite a life. You're 80 now, correct? Then?
Yes.
Oh my God. And I just had a yoga lesson with you last week. That was powerful online. 50 people online with you. What made you choose to teach?
Well, Yogi Bhajan always said, I'm teaching teachers, and if you don't want to be a teacher, don't come. He was very specific. He's like, you know what? I'm teaching teachers. So I'm sure that was in my psyche. When I moved to the ashram in Millis, Massachusetts, I think it was 1980, 84, I lived there. I taught a class, and it was one of my very first classes. I'm trying to think. It's a long time ago. But I taught this class and I felt so good after teaching this class. I mean, like took the material and inhale, exhale, stand up. I mean, I was just reading off the instructions. But afterwards, I was like, something happened. I'm like, this is good stuff. I felt good about myself. And all the people, this was the 80s. It was a harsh time and everybody's trying. This was the John Bradshaw era, come home to your soul and how the family messes you up and all that. So everybody's like processing all this stuff. And I'm like, you know what? Just teach. That's what I told them, my friends in the ashram. I'm like, just teach. You'll be okay if you teach. You don't have to sit home and analyze what your mother and your father did to you because everybody's got that. But you teach and you're going to be okay. You're going to feel good about yourself and your contribution to life. And I'm like, this is the best. Just teach. Just teach and you'll be okay. So that's how I,
Yeah.
I was always a teacher. After college, I taught in a local high school. When I was little, I taught the neighborhood kids and we had a little school in the basement with little chairs. And so it's always been in my DNA to teach. It was just the next level of teaching. That's it.
And can you remember? And now I'm going to ask you even to go even back further back. What made you move to the ashram?
Well, I didn't quite know what I was going to do. I had finished my PhD. I came back to, actually, I came back to teach at Dartmouth. And I was teaching at Dartmouth, and then I was teaching at MIT, but I was doing a postdoctoral program on the United Nations Environment Program. And I was doing weekly Kundalini classes and always going to the tantric classes that Yogi Bhajan had. And I didn't exactly know what my next step was, where I was going to go next. So Yogi Bhajan said, you need to go to the ashram. I'm like, because the ashram was just opening up in Millis, Massachusetts. Before it was in a house in a bad part of Boston. I'm like, Oh, that sounds like a good idea. So I just went. There was a bunch of us, like 50 of us moved to the ashram outside of Boston. It was a little isolating. It was a long way to Boston, but it was good. So again, I got led. I mean, Yogi Bhajan didn't say, you got to move in the ashram. He said, yeah, move into the ashram. Not a bad idea. Try it out. So that's what I did.
Wow. How many years have you spent with Yogi Bhajan?
My sister introduced me to him in, actually, it was the fall of 1976. He came to Boston and she said, you got to meet this guy. He's traveling around and sounds interesting. So I said, okay, I'll go to a lecture by him. And the thing that caught my attention in the lecture that he gave that first night was he said, if you practice Kundalini yoga, you can't be controlled. Ding, ding. I'm like, that's really cool. And I got my PhD in international environment and development. And the big discussion at that time was self-reliance and the how for developing countries to not be manipulated and controlled and exploited by the developed countries. So control was a big thing in the international psyche. Of course, the developing countries wanted to exploit the developing countries, and the developing countries didn't like it. So I'm like, this could be the answer to the problem. If the developing countries would be in charge of their own psyche, they couldn't be controlled and they couldn't be exploited by the developed countries. It was a thought. And then I thought about it, personally, of course, too, but on the overall international scene, I saw it too. So I'm like, you know what? That's about as good as it gets. At least right now, that's as good as I knew so far. So I'm like, I'll buy into that. I'll do it and see what happens.
And now you're 47 years later. How many books have you written about Kundalini Yoga?
12.
12 books.
Yeah. I view my life as being on assignment. I am here for a mission. I am here to do what needs to be done, and I do it. So I have a little different kind of life. Not married, no kids, happy. I just write my books, teach my classes, and I'm happy because that's what my soul came here to do. Has, Nobody has the same soul path, but I like writing books
Can you
because
just very shortly tell us which book you've written? Yeah, I see you have them on the back, but take
I
us through.
do. So
What was your first book? Let's go in the order, right order, and then maybe you can
okay, the
tell us.
first one was Transition to a Heart-Centered World. And this was so interesting because I could understand what Yogi Bhajan was saying. If you raise the energy up and also from the up down, you'll be able to open your heart. And that is a fairly new concept. Maybe it's not a new concept, but in terms of writing how you do that, that motivated me because I could understand that that was true. And most traditional paths are raise the energy up and escape into the non-physical. So they're escapist strategies. A totally bad idea, but it doesn't work if you want to be functional on planet Earth. So I understood that this is how you become functional and heart-centered. And this is still the most popular book because I haven't seen anything else that explains that's how you do it with the root lock and all the Kundalini techniques. Get you to the point that you can actually raise your lower energies, make them functional. You can open your heart to your humanness, to your womanhood, to your manhood. And then from the upper chakras, you can bring that energy down to the heart. And it works. So that was number one. Okay.
Okay. How long
Then
did that
number,
take you to write it? How long did that take you to write your first book? I mean, it
well,
must be quite a decision to not only to teach but to write the book. Or was that easy to you?
no, I had some help from a student that did all the drawings. And she was an artist from Berkeley and was in the hippie movement. And that's such a great story because her name is Anne Marie. At that time, there was no internet. I had to put ads in the newspaper. I was living in San Diego, ads in the newspaper and call people to get people to come to the classes. And so I talked to Anne Marie a few times on the phone, but she never came to the class. I'm like, I call her again, every night, telephoning. She said, well, I can't afford it. I'm like, just come. We'll figure out a trade. So the first time she came or a couple of times, and she comes back with these drawings, which I think everybody can
Yeah, yeah,
recognize
for sure.
her drawings. And I'm like, that's really good. And then she, I gave her some printouts of a couple, a couple sets. And then she comes back with these little booklets with the drawings and typed out the directions for the set with a little plastic cover. And it was like a little manual. I'm like, this is good. Let's keep going on this. So that's how we developed it. It took us a couple years, but because she had to do the drawings and we had to do the research to find the sets. And so it was a few. Well, let's take a look and see when the first. That's a good idea. 88, two
Mm,
years.
wow. Okay,
So
Nick.
that was the first one. The second one, wait a minute. The second one was relax and renew. So we changed the theme because there's a big section in here on stress reduction in three to 11 minutes. And then we expanded from that. So we picked out the sets as we went along. And then the third one was sexuality and spirituality. So these are the ones that have all the sets in them,
Hmm.
the major sets.
And these were all originally taught by Yogi Bhajan.
Yeah. A couple were taught by Guru Charan, and the warm-ups I made up myself, but the basic sets and the meditations were taught by Yogi Bhajan.
Mm.
So that was the, what was next? Oh yeah, we did. These have been totally revised. Then we did an introduction to Kundalini Yoga, one volume, but several years ago I made it into two volumes, volume one and volume two, obviously. And so that people could use this for their teachers training courses if they needed. And I think you guys are using these for your teachers training.
Yes, we do. Yeah,
Yeah.
Guru is using it. Yeah. Well,
And you know what? There's people all over the world using them. They plagiarize them, but they get one copy and then they copy it. So those were the first ones. Then as I was doing my teacher's training course with my sister, we taught 5 courses before I went to Europe and started teaching over there. This, the inner art of Kundalini Yoga, it's what I developed for my teacher's training course. So it just has just a lot of information, including the astrology and the chakras and the 10 bodies and how to raise the Kundalini. So this tells you how to do it and how it works. So this was originally my teacher's training manual. It's quite good. It's 271 pages, all jam-packed. So then so this one just got together. And then, let me see. Yeah, Gift of Womanhood was next. And this started out as 2 pages, and now it is 333 pages. So I was teaching women in Turkey and have a class for 10 days. It was beautiful. This is the experience of being always beautiful women. And the second year, I took 2 pages of the basic nature of womanhood. And they're like, wow, this is really good. So then the next year I went over, I had a little booklet about 100 pages. That's little for me, and about womanhood. And they're like, wow, this is really good. And the next year I came over with this.
wow.
So it was a 3-year process of pulling it together. Oh, and I should say actually that before that, I wrote The Destiny of Women is the Destiny of the World. And I had been in a phase of writing. It, it looks kind of like poem, but I call it an essay poem. And I've been in a 5-year phase that I just wrote like poetry. And I picked out all the ones that I wanted for the destiny of women is the destiny of the world. So this is like an inspirational book. It's like, wake up, women. We're our destiny as a woman, as a global womanhood. We're creating the reality now. And if we don't get with the program of our womanhood and our power, it's going to self-destruct. We have a mission. We must tune into our womanhood, our value, who we are, and our creativity, and inspire the world to create peace instead of war. I mean, that's the bottom line. Are we going to kill each other? Are we going to help each other? Make a choice.
So
That's what
sorry to intervene. You said that very strong. If the women do not stand up to their gift and change the destiny of the world, we're gonna self-destruct.
yeah.
Is that in the stars?
look out, look at the next newspaper.
I know, I know. I
But
just came from a conversation about that for sure.
yeah, but we can see it and it's been moving in that direction. And we're finally waking up like, you know what? This is serious. Like we actually could self-destruct. Only takes one person to hit the button.
Yeah.
So in terms of the question, is it in the stars? The planets, the cosmos always gives us a choice because the energy of the universe is neutral. But what do we choose to do with that energy? Do we choose to fight or do we choose to love each other? That's the human choice. That's the bottom line to human existence. What do you choose? And we've been choosing war for millennium. And unless women stand up and get empowered within, and men too, we all need to be in our hearts. If we're going in the same direction, it's not looking good. It just isn't. We know that. It doesn't. So we're a choice. So anyway, this one was before the inner art. And then the gift of womanhood, the power of neutral. I love this.
Mm.
This is all about the meditative mind and how to work with the mind. We are so blessed in Kundalini Yoga to have the access to the information that we have a positive, negative, and neutral mind. And I don't see that explained in that way in most meditation courses. It just says awaken the mind. But basically have to change channels. There's another channel that's neutral. And we were taught that. And so this takes off on that so that people can get a understanding of how the mind works instead of like, well, just think positive or just don't think. And I'm like, you know what? I tried it. It doesn't work very well. Just don't think. You can't do that. But we can change channels to neutral and expand our capacity to tune into neutral and to be in that space when we live our life. So it's another big book. I like this book too. 279 pages. Worth it.
Oh my
If
gosh.
everybody just took this book and practiced, we'd be good.
Yeah. If we,
And then I did the chakra book. Your life is in your chakras. I had done a course on this at summer solstice and a smaller version. And I had also taught it at the Institute for Transpersonal Psychology in Palo Alto when I was living up there. And it was a smaller book, and I didn't have the computer. It was just thrown together and copy, paste. And I sold that book for years. It was the same title. I mean, and I remember one lady at Sol, she said, I want to teach that course. She said, can I get your notes? I said, I sold my notes for $15. And she was good. She didn't give it to anybody, but she taught courses on it. This lady from Florida. And somebody else said, oh, she's got all your notes. Can I have them? I'm like, no. I sold them to her for $15. She'll teach it. But then I expanded it to be a whole book. So it became up 3 times as big. And this is it's a good book. It's got everything about the chakras, more than you need. A lot.
Is that
Yeah.
was that the last one, or are you
No,
continuing on?
the number 11
Oh,
was Sing to Your Soul, which is Japji. And I was thinking of writing a different book, but then it's so interesting. Japji wanted to be number 11. I'm like, okay, okay, relax. I'll teach, I'll write a book on Japji. So this is the one that I put together on Japji. And every time I just even open up the book, I fall in love. Because when you fall, just connect with the divine, you fall in love, just the way it is. That's why you do Japji every day.
what's in
Because
the
you,
book? What's in the book? Is it the explanation, or I'm curious.
yeah, then you get it and read it. It explains like Sunya. There's so many puris in Japji that say Sunya. What does Sunya mean? Sunya means deeply listen. But Sunya is more than deeply listen. Sunya is deeply feel. So when you listen and you listen deeply, you start to feel. That's a whole trick of Sunya. It's not just, oh yeah, I listen. No, when you listen, you begin to awaken your whole sensory system. It just happens. Do you experience that?
Yep. Yes, I do.
That's so good. He
I'm at
likes
the phase of Monday to not only to just listen, but to trust in what I hear, and just to surrender to that and just act on it.
right. And to follow what you hear.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's what money is. Listen and obey. That's why we're together. You're obeying. You got the message. Call her up. You did.
Yeah, and it's not about obeying somebody else, right? That's the clue about if you know who to obey, which is your inner wisdom, then you can't be controlled,
That's it.
right?
Exactly. Because you are obeying your soul, you're obeying the divine, you're obeying your mission, you're doing what you came here to do. So you're at peace.
Yeah, exactly. Because I just came from I was with some friends with my brother, and I never read the news anymore, but I just got in and there was discussion about news. Oh, the world's gonna be? What do you think? This and that. I'm like, I do Japji every day and I get what I need to know from Japji, and I guess that's it for me. I don't need to be part of this, all politics. I mean, I don't want to call out anybody's name, but we know which names are being called out right now in politics. So, um, I prefer to tune into my own channel and receive the directions from there.
That's it. Tune into your own channel. I love it. Create a course on that. I tune in to my own channel. I mean, what else is there? And this is what I mean about choice, because there's so much fear on the planet and there's so much insanity. But that's because we're at a higher frequency now. And unless you match the higher frequency on a regular basis and stay there, you'll be pulled into the negativity because we're used to being negative. We're used to complaining. We're used to just following. Oh, they said this, they said that. We're drones, but we don't have to be.
Well, I look at you and you radiate full of positivity. Let's transition a bit. So you do a lot of writing. I know that you love the stars and the planets. Tell us about that when you discover that love, or did you carry with you from a past life, or does that mix or does that merge with Kundalini yoga? Tell us about that.
Well, when it was a long time ago, maybe 25 years ago, I'm like, I want to learn about astrology. So I got somebody to print out my chart, and I bought a book on introduction to astrology, and I started looking at it. And I'd look up, I'm Cancer. So I look up Cancer, and then I'm like, yeah, well, that kind of fits. And then I got a Sag moon. Then I'd look up Sagittarius. And then I'd look up Scorpio because I have a Scorpio rising. And I went one thing at a time. And it was just like fascinating for me. I'm like, wow, this tells me a lot about myself. And so I just fell in love with the knowledge, the wisdom. And it's knowledge and wisdom that comes without an agenda. It's just like, this is Sagittarius, that's fire energy. I'm like, yeah, I feel the fire. And then I'm like, Cancer energy, that's water. I'm like, yeah, I feel the the emotional states. And it woke me up to know that we each have a blueprint. And we can identify the blueprint in our astrology chart. So, and I have a twin brother, and Sandesh has a twin brother. Are you identical twins?
Yes, we are.
Yeah, okay, you're identical. Well, obviously, having a brother, we're not identical, but we have the same chart. How much difference between you and your brother in terms of time?
I think it was 15, 20 minutes or something. 15.
Okay, so you basically have a very similar chart. You can give me the dates sometime, the exact time for your brother, because 15 to 20 minutes can change the moon. But my brother and myself, we were 3 minutes apart, so we're really close like that. But each person has a soul, and it's different. So it plays out differently in each person. So it's a really interesting thing. You can have the same chart, but obviously, one, if you're a man and a woman, that's going to really play out differently. But your souls are different. I just find this so fascinating and helpful for people to know this about themselves because we're so conditioned to be negative towards ourselves. Oh, I've got to fix this. No, honey, don't fix anything. Just discover who you are, raise your vibration, and be who you are. We spend too much time like, I was thinking the other day, this lady I met, she's like, I'm overweight. I'm like, you spend your whole life relating to your body, your sacred vessel, as something's the matter with it? Don't waste your time on that. I told her, I'm like, you're beautiful. You've got great vibrations, you've got so much love in your heart. Focus on that. She's like, oh, that's a good idea. I'm like, yeah, it is. It's a good idea. Just focus on your inner beauty, and you'll realize that you have outer beauty as well.
Yeah, because that's what it's about, right? If you tune out to the external world, there's a lot of messages will give you a judgment about yourself, and you'll just be getting this heavy negative vibration, and that's how they keep you down, right? Controllable. But once
Exactly.
we get tuned into our own channel, seriously, there can be emotions, etc., but it's very light and bright once you just be with it, right?
Yeah, it's just such a different way to live your life. And that's why I want to teach this course for women because just wake up and be you.
Yeah, this
And
course for women. Let's tune into that. You said I have a movement to, I have a mission that I want to, that I still need to deliver on this world. And all is around this gift of womanhood. Why you? And why do you need to deliver it so much?
I, Munia, I'm following my directions. I couldn't figure this all out by myself. Maybe my soul could, maybe the soul's talking to me, but it not only makes sense, it's like what my next job is. That's what I always say. This is my job. And I do my job. And one thing I love to say, because this is how I operate, I do only what only I can do. And this is what I can do. And this is what I'm being told to do, however you want to put it. And really, the destiny of women is the destiny of the world. And to get there, women need to wake up to who they are. The patriarchy has been so strong and so powerful for all these centuries, millennium, that women don't have self-esteem. Maybe some do, but on a global basis, women are very unempowered. And our society has taught us that if you want to succeed in the world, you need to act like a man. I'm like, really? That is ridiculous. You can't act like a man and stay sane. And that's what I've seen as traveling in Europe. I've seen all these extraordinary women and they're burnt out. They're exhausted. They're like doing motherhood, they're doing household, they're doing their jobs, and they can't function anymore. And one of the countries that I was teaching at, a lot of the women doing teachers training were on stress leave because they couldn't handle it anymore. And this is not to say women shouldn't be in the world. Women should be in the world. But as a woman, not trying to act like a man, not trying to beat people up, be the first. Why? Just be in the world with love in your heart. You get direction on what to do. Women are very creative, so women need to be everywhere, but at an attitude of self-love and not self-destruction. Women destroy themselves by trying to be like a man. And women are very powerful, so they have the they have the tune in. We don't have to beat ourselves up. So that's a big piece that we have been trained like, oh, just act like a man, be like a man, and you'll be successful. Yeah, you'll burn out, is not everybody, but too many.
Yeah, I have many of them in my yoga class also. They come to re-energize and rediscover the true path. You're right. I mean, the men are also burning out, but in the Kundalini yoga class, I notice more women burned out to coming back to rejuvenate or uh, recharge, coming back to their own source.
Right. And it's recharge is really important. And as you recharge, you become who you are instead of if we live in fear and trauma all the time, we can't access our womanhood to the extent that we are really empowered because we're ruled by fear and we're controlled by stress. And it doesn't work for a woman's body and woman's psyche. It doesn't work for men either, actually. to be totally stressed out. But men have, they have a different makeup and it's good. So, but don't use it to kill each other or, step on other people for, make 500 billion dollars. Who need, come on, get with it. We're in this together. So that's one, what women have been taught, be like a man, which means low self-esteem because it's not okay to be a woman. And a more fundamental or equally fundamental is God is a man. God is he. Hello? God is the polarities merged to the extent that it's an extraordinary energy that we can't even fathom, but we can tune into it. I had a student, it was actually a black jazz pianist who won awards in California. He was really good. And he had three girls. And he told me, I didn't allow him to go to church till after they were 7 years old. Because at church, they teach my girls that God's a man. I'm not going to have that. I was laughing. It's so insightful. He's like, no, I don't want my little girls to think that God's a man. So that was a real good example of a man taking his power to protect his daughters. He's like, no. And his daughters are very powerful and very self-sustaining and wonderful. The other thing happens is that women become subservient. Just like, well, I just have to do what he says, subservient to the teacher, to their partners, to life. It's like, no, that doesn't work. And and then also, if women don't, this is the most basic thing that I've discovered. Women need their male polarity in their mind. They need a meditative mind that tunes into a stable energy, a stable consciousness, a stable availability of the universe, of your soul in your mind. That's the point of meditation, one of them. Most basic is tune in to stable. Now, we used to call that the masculine and the mind, but we need it devoid of gender because it's for both men and women. Stable. Once women have the stable polarity anchored in their mind, they're they've got the basis, they've got the foundation to move into their own power. When they don't have stable, a meditative mind, they're always fluctuating because women fluctuate. That's the feminine energy. The feminine energy is always moving, it's always manifesting, it's always creating. It's not stable. It's not supposed to be stable. It moves, it flows. Stable is stable. It doesn't change. That's our connection with the infinite. Once women have a stable polarity and can work with that and hold that stable polarity while she's in life, her life changes forever. All these things I need a man. And no, she doesn't do that to herself anymore. She can have a man. That's great. But she doesn't need a man. because she's not needy anymore. That's women go after men. Ah, male teachers. No, you don't need to do that. Get stable in your mind and you won't do it. You'll honor men for who they are, you'll learn from them, but you won't be subservient. You won't be needing the male polarity because that's how polarities work. And one of my mascots for my classes is Polarity Panda. This is Polarity Panda. Isn't he cute? The the polarities work together to make this like such a cute little animal. This is our life. We're polarities. We have stable, we have flowing, and we're really cute when we're all together. This is for both men and women. This is a unisex. And the other one is mama bear. Women need a mama bear because we think that the divine is papa bear, but there's also a mama bear. There's the divine feminine, there's the divine goddess. And so when women get a mama bear, they're like, okay, that's me. And the universe, like we're at one with the universe because we're at one with mama bear, because we're a woman. So these are my two main, I have more, but these are the main ones that everybody can relate to. Men need a mama bear too. Women
We
are
know that
men are
already since birth, right? We know that already since birth.
what?
We
What'd
men
you
know
say?
that already since birth. We need a mama bear.
Right. And when men find their feelings, their emotions, their body, their connection with the earth, they get their mama bear inside. And then they treat women much differently. And then they don't need a woman for mama bear because they have their own connection. And then relationships can be really fun, really interesting, really fulfilling because both men and women are whole. They're both got their polarities together and they vibe together. They work together. They grow together. That's what we need. Because when you go to class for women, like, I want a relationship. I'm like, honey, get a relationship with yourself, and the right relationship for your life will show up. But don't attract from neediness because you're going to get something that doesn't work too well. And that's like unfortunate. So these are the basics that I cover in the class.
So if I understand well, as a man, uh, we need women to feel that they're complete, that they're not needy,
Yes,
and they need to act into the world from that base because the relationship for men get better also. I mean, I'm honestly, I prefer a woman who knows she's complete than that she's needy. And when she's in her power and in balance with the men around us in this world, we'll have a different world instead of being less than men.
exactly. We'll have a different world. And that's what we need, a different world, a different vibration. And it's you, it's me, it's every woman, it's every man. We can do it. We can do it. I know we can do it. And that's why I say what I do is a mission, because I know we can do it. There's so many awesome men and women on this planet. When I was traveling around Europe, I would ask men, Should we put a woman in charge? And every single man said yes. They didn't say, oh, yeah. They said yes. It was like, yes. Taxi cab drivers, people I meet on the street, everybody, all the men, yes, put a woman in charge.
And what would that
No,
be?
what?
And what will you get when a woman gets in charge, huh?
Well, women have to be a woman first and not act like a man. But gradually, women choose caring because woman's a mother. We're made to be a mother, whether we have children or not. We're made this way. And women can shift when they're really tuned into themselves and their caring capacity. They're not going to vote for killing each other. Sometimes I live near the beach and I walk to the beach, and the island that I live on off of San Diego, Coronado, half of the island, a good part of the island is a military base, a Navy base. And the planes, the military, the fighter bombers land like 2 blocks away from where I walk to the beach. So there's all this noise, not all the time, but when they land. And it's so interesting. Sometimes I walk with this neighbor guy, and he's mesmerized by these airplanes. He doesn't, he's mesmerized by the technology and the power and all that. But also, every time one goes by, he'll say, that's $500 million. Oh, that's an Osprey. That's $400 million that we just spent on that. So even though he's intrigued by all this technology, he knows we're wasting a lot of money. And then, we'll be sitting on a bench by the beach, and then at the end, I'm like, okay, that equals $5 billion that just flew over us. And we both just like shake our heads. It's like $5 billion. How many people could we feed for $5 billion? Women will choose to feed people. This guy will choose to feed people too. But the pilots, the military industrial complex chooses to play with big toys. They're really expensive. Gotta find some other, play video games. I mean, whatever it is, but not billions of dollars on killing each other. Uh-uh. Women will not make that choice. They won't. So
We do this course, or you want to do this course because we want peace, lasting peace.
that's it. We want a peaceful planet. We want peace. We want happiness. And we want to take care of each other. Not in a welfare state. Oh, yeah, this poor person. No, good education. Give people a chance to excel and see what they come up with.
I'm all excited. I'm all
I
excited.
I
All
am
right.
too. Because you know what? I am so glad you showed up in my life. When I turned 80, I'm like, you know what? Time is short. I don't know how long I have here, but I want to do this. And it changed my energy to think that some people could be joining me and helping me. And we work as a team to do it together. So I'm like, oh, great. We've got two guys that want to do this. Yay.
It's the satsangas, isn't it?
It's a Sangat. Yeah, it's a Sangat and it's growing.
I know many who will want to be part of this program. And why is it you said it's gonna be a year training, right? But is it just a year training, or is this like I feel like we're building something that's gonna plug in more people, more women, and building a movement. It's not just a training, right? We're gonna set a movement. Isn't that like that? I feel.
Yeah, it's basically a movement. I mean, it's going to go on for more than a year, but we're going to give people a chance to start like just start with a year and then we'll keep going
Hmm.
because we don't know what will be fed. I mean, all this information, all this experience, we'll just keep going. As long as I'm here, we go.
And I have a dying question here. How do you download all of this? How does your life look like right now so that you are able to download all of this?
Well, it's because it's the only thing that I do. My son is 2.5 hours, and I mean, I do my yoga, I do my meditation, but I listen and I feel, and I love just sitting down and just like listening to my breath. I get information. I have a notebook, and if an idea comes through, I write it down. Then I don't have to be thinking about it. It's in the notebook. And this is a way of life for me. I go for a walk every day. I do my sauna. I fix my food. I go to the grocery store. I have a few friends I take walks with periodically, but this is what I devoted my life to. And so I don't have a lot of people to take care of, kids, grandkids. It wasn't in my script that got. So I just pay attention. So how downloads work, I don't know exactly, but I know I'm happy when I'm writing. I know I'm happy when I'm just being. And then it kind of comes through. And now I want to be more into being, but the downloads keep happening, but it's more consolidating. But that's why I don't want to do like, oh, you got to do something every day. No. You mean, teach every day? I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that because I need to just be with the energy. And I'm with everybody all the time anyway. So I guess it's a question that I really can't answer. Just this is who I am. This is what I came here to do. I'm focused on it. I love it. I feel good when I sit down at the computer and type up my notes and read and underline and then type up notes. And then when I type up notes, I change it around.
And what do you drink after sadhana?
What did you say?
What do you drink after sadhana? I'm always curious about that. After sadhana, what do you drink? Water, tea?
What do I drink
Yeah,
after?
what do you drink?
Right now, I drink bone broth after fasana.
Wow. Because they everybody think it's just tea, but I've been asking many people and they tell their own version, something matcha, something coffee, something tea. But you do bone broth. Wow, that gets you starting the day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Wow.
need something that's kind of energizing, but not heavy.
Nice. Wow.
And then I have a little special porridge that I make out of chia seeds and chia seeds, hemp seeds, collagen, spirulina, and then some other herbs.
Yeah, because I'm asking because you take care of yourself very, very well. I mean,
I
I
do. I do. That's like, that's what I always tell people at the end of the class. Take good care of yourself. That's absolutely critical. I haven't eaten sugar for probably 35 years. I don't do that to myself. I'd be just like everybody else if I ate sugar and all this junk. I go to the grocery store, I'm like, 95% of this stuff in this store should not be put in your mouth. But people junk. So my diet's pretty simple, but it tastes good. And my most important thing is I want to feel good. So I don't have like the addiction, oh, you got to have sugar, you got to have chocolate, you got to have this. I don't do that. I eat well and I prefer to like what I eat, but I don't put junk in it. Anything processed, I just don't do it because I don't feel good. So I want to feel good. That's the cancer thing. I feel, I feel good. I'm like, yeah. There was a class at ladies camp, but given by some teacher, and he asked, we had like 40 women, and he said, how many women think about what you are going to feel like in 2 hours after you eat? And out of 40, four of us raised our hands. That means that 90% of the people, the women there, they didn't think about how they're going to feel after they ate. I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
I guess they think about how they feel when they eat it, but not how about they feel 2 hours after eating it, right?
Right, I know, but I think about how I'm going to feel after.
That's a nice rule. Interesting.
Yeah, so anyway, you wanted some of they're not really secret, but it's what I do.
Wow.
Take a walk every day, do my sadhana, eat well, be kind to people, help people out. Every little girl that I see, I say, "Hi, beautiful. Did you know you're beautiful?" And every little girl says yes. It's amazing. They all say yes.
Somewhere they forget, huh?
What?
Somewhere they forget.
Someday they will forget. I was,
Somewhere. I mean, somewhere down when they grow older, that question is not answered like yes that easily always.
it's not. Up till puberty, they say yes. I'm not sure after that, but I ask the older ones too, and I say, "Did you know you're a goddess?" Yeah, I do. So do my
I'll ask
little.
my daughter that. Thank you. That's good. I will ask my daughter that too. Thank you very
How,
much.
how old is your daughter?
She's 12, going into puberty.
12. Wow, such a magical age for her.
Yeah, yeah,
That's beautiful.
yeah.
Yeah.
It-
Some of the younger ones, I think they're gonna get it. They're gonna keep it. So we'll see.
yeah. Now let's end off this interview. I want to give you a final space to address the women who you invite to be on this training. Just say anything you want to them.
I want to invite every woman to be on this training. I don't have any, like, it's got to be this age or this country or this or that. No, a woman is a woman. And I honor every single woman. I want every woman to know how beautiful and how extraordinary they are. I invite every woman to change your relationship with yourself to one of like discovery of what it's like to be a woman, what it's like to be you, because there's only one you. This is the only chance you have to be you this lifetime. And it's so special. So I don't have any qualifications on who it is. It's for everybody in the way that you can accept it, work with it. I know a lot of women, we've got too much to do, but just for the vibration, join me. Take a little piece, and then the next year, take another little piece, because that's what I did. Every year is a piece, and every year adds on. So it's not a definitive, oh, do this and then it'll all be okay. Well, it's all going to get better, but we keep going until the day we die. And that's a long time away for most people, for most women and men. So get started now. Take a little nugget, do something to elevate your consciousness to your heart. So every single woman is beautiful and every single woman is invited. And that's the mission. The more, and I really want women that learn this to teach it to other women. May not have a regular course, but you can teach it to your girlfriends and your mother and your sister and your neighbor and help them. So we can all be on a mission. It's a global mission. The destiny of women is the destiny of the world, and we can change it. And we better do it quick because it's getting, but we can raise it. So that's it. And to men too, I do need to say to men, because I always include men, how could you not include men? We're we're together. We're a polarity pair. Men can join too. We'll see how we do it, but it's on Zoom, so you can join in. Men need to understand women, and men need to understand the feminine. It doesn't mean that men are going to start acting like women. That was one of the things like, oh, that'll make me less of a man. No, it'll make you a man to tune in to your subconscious and your emotional. Everything that's going on in the world is run by the subconscious. So it's the military industrial complex and all this stuff. It's because men need toys. I mean, the emotional body is much more than big toys. So men are totally welcome just to understand an ex a different way of being so you can be at peace with yourself too. So we see who shows up, who feels the call. It's your call, and you listen to it from your heart. And if that's you, see you soon. Yay.